Hey everybody, and welcome to another episode of Pseudo Ludo. I'm joined here by Brian and Nick, and this man speaking here is Murph, your host for the evening. And we're here once again to talk about this past generation of video games that has come up. Today we're especially going to focus on the topic of our favorite moments, and this is going to be, moments from within the industry, moments in specific games, anything like that. But first, why don't we just kind of do a little intro, talk about what we've played this week, and then we'll do some news, and then we'll get into the main topic. How's that sound, boys?
Yeah,
I'll agree with that.
That wasn't a very long yeah, boy, but...
I've been working on it.
All right. So, Brian, what have you been up to?
I started a new playthrough of Dark Souls 3. Didn't get too far, but that's predominantly what I've been doing. I wanted to go back to something that I know well, that I could just kind of relax, as weird as that sounds, because Dark Souls is, not a relaxing game, but in the interim before PS5 comes out, just kind of not start a new game or get too deep in the backlog or whatever. I just wanted to kind of kick my feet up and enjoy playing a game, and so I fired that up again, made a new character, got 3-4 hours in, and other than that, not much.
Yeah, that's always a good decision. I can always appreciate that. Nick, what about you?
Last week I started up God of War again. And,
Did you really?
Yeah. I'm at the part where you are looking for the chisel or something.
Did you did you restart the game, or did you?
Yeah. I don't know how far I am in with the looking for the chisel thing. I don't remember, but...
Yeah, I don't remember.
That's basically what I did.
That could be a joke. I don't even know what that... Like, when you said that, I laughed, but I was like, is that a real part of the game? I don't remember. It's been so long.
Yeah, I have to play it to see if it deserves a spot on my top 30. We'll see. It's TBD. But other than that, I just want to shout out Wizard 101.
What the fuck? Did you start playing that again?
Did you actually?
No, I haven't. I think I was reading up on it. I think it's dead now.
I'm sure.
That's a damn shame. But Tim, you started playing WoW, and I looked into it, and I really didn't want to pay the subscription. So I was thinking about the times when I used to play Wizard 101, because it's it's a similar aspect, but for kids. It's like Nikki's first MMORPG or whatever you want to call it.
Which you aren't.
Excuse me.
You're not a kid.
I can be whatever I want to be.
You know where you can be whatever you want to be in the world of Warcraft.
Just a shout out to Wizard 101. Had a lot of good memories with that, and I love the card collecting aspect of it. I think that was pretty unique of the time.
Actually, WoW had that, but
wow.
Is WoW? You can play WoW for free, like not classic.
You can play the regular version of World of Warcraft, yeah, for free. It was free to play in 2017. That's when it.
Is there a pay to win aspect to that, or no?
I'm not sure. I think there's microtransactions in it now that you can. Well, it's like you can buy certain things like
progress.
I don't know. You'd have to look into it. I just am more into classic.
Yeah, that's something to look into then. I didn't know that.
I know there is if you get a subscription, you get access to WoW Classic, and you get a higher tier on the regular version. So I don't know what that gets you, but some kind of perk. But I mean, yeah, I'm not going to keep it for a whole year or anything. I'm just going to probably mess around with it for this month and then.
I mean, honestly, I was about to roast you, but then I was thinking about it. I pay, however much Disney Plus is, $8.
Right? Yeah.
HBO $15. Netflix is $12, $13, and how often a month am I? Disney Plus in particular is
seriously.
Never. I will when Mandalorian comes back, but I never go.
And WandaVision.
Is that even coming out soon?
And there's a lot of people that don't There's a lot of people that play all year round and stuff, but then there's also people that just you make a character, you level it up, kind of like Destiny or something, where you get to the level for raids or whatever, and then when new stuff comes out, you can do your subscription again, do that month's content, and then maybe take another few months off, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, in terms of like hours of enjoyment for, it's way like I used it way more this month than I used Netflix or Hulu or anything else I pay for. But so yeah, this week I also started playing Crusader Kings 3, which is a lot of fun. And I probably could talk a lot about that, maybe in the coming weeks, maybe when we have more time to get into it. If I keep playing,
a hint.
No, I got that through Xbox Game Pass on the PC for $1, along with the Master Chief Collection. So
they were both
I also checked.
Never mind. Continue.
Yeah, like the Game Pass is $1 for the first month.
Yeah, I forgot.
So I checked that out too. So yeah, a lot of checking out a lot of things. I have a lot of games downloaded that I will intend to try out at some point before the next gen is upon us. But okay, is that it? Why don't we get into the news?
What's up first, Murph?
Cyberpunk got delayed again.
Another one.
Yeah. So this is a pretty short delay until December 10th. And, at this point, it had already gone gold. So I don't know. I think, it's entirely possible they'll just delay again because the last time,
that's
like, there's no reason not to, So
that's so funny. It's like telling somebody, like, I'll absolutely be there, like RSVP, and then you just don't go. Like,
right.
Kind of like the music industry when artists say they're gonna drop an album and then just disappear for 5 years.
Yeah, at least Cyberpunk, like, they're not gonna get away with just not talking about the album ever again, like Kanye does.
Maybe they'll run for president.
That'd be insane if like they just pretended Cyberpunk never existed after that and started talking about like
political
Christianity or something. Yeah,
like the Twitter
Richard
account just started
DLC.
saying really controversial, like stupid things.
Up next on the news, Destruction All Stars also got delayed from the launch window to 2021, and it's now going to be a free PS Plus game. So figure that one out.
It's now going to be the game of the year next year instead of this year.
Right. So it must have. I mean, for $70, I really don't know if it would have sold more than 5 copies.
Yeah, imagine like the people at Sony were like checking pre-order numbers and they're like, wait, what's going on?
Yeah. They're like, we have 0 pre-orders for this game.
Because it had to be like that had to be an internal reason because they clearly didn't plan on doing this, even though like
no,
it seemed so obvious from like the outside looking.
Yeah,
in, like, this should be a PS Plus game.
If you showed me the trailer, I would have like assumed it's like a free to play game or something, but.
Has there been gameplay of this yet?
No.
Like any meaningful gameplay?
The trailer
really,
looks. I think there was some stuff in the trailer, but it didn't look good. They've been very reluctant to show it because I'm sure it's terrible.
Terribly good.
It'd be fun when the boys play though,
Yeah,
and on that note, we also got the PS Plus games for this month, November, announced. Bug Snacks for PS5, Middle Earth: Shadow of War, and Hollow Knight. So those are some good games. Bug Snacks must also not be looking very hot if they're giving them out for free.
Yeah,
Destruction All Stars knew its rightful place as number 2 on Game of the Year list, so they bowed out to next year, leaving Bug Snacks.
That's shitty logic
to sit on the throne.
Resogun was the PS4 PS Plus game, and that game is
but was Resogun first announced for retail?
I don't think Bug Snacks was it on PlayStation?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
I don't think so. I definitely was for PC. I don't think it was for PlayStation. Nick would have bought 100 copies.
Yeah, maybe not.
Absolutely.
If that's the case, then my skepticism has subsided a little bit.
I mean, I'm sure it's not actually going to be like amazing or anything. But
you make a good point. I thought they switched it from selling it to making it free. But yeah, if that's the case, then
I might be wrong.
Then yeah. Up next, Kojima is hiring for a new project. This is from Twitter, and we don't know too much about it, but this means this guy's was working fast with Death Stranding, so hopefully there's another quick turnaround.
I'm all the way in on whatever he's cooking.
Yeah, it'll be great. Let's move right along. Watch Dogs Legion dropped this week, and it got pretty mediocre reviews. Not the hottest.
I'll toot my own horn here that I had previously said that this game would not be good. So.
I'm shocked, honestly, because
the marketing does only focus on the one mechanic.
The second game is really good though, and this one seems like it's just they kind of swung for the fences and it didn't quite land from what I've seen. That there's as a result of the experimentation, there seems to be some technical problems and some repetition, I still get. I mean, I'll probably pick it up when it's like $10 in March. It's not gonna.
I think it's a gimmick, exactly like when
it's a gimmick, but it's experimenting from the formula they previously had established. This isn't just another Watch Dogs game.
This is going from having to develop a character, write a story, get good facial animations to just asset flipping every NPC you've ever made into. I appreciate it. I think it sounded like a cool idea, but clearly the way it seems like they must not have cared about it too much. And
I mean, because this already got delayed like a year, I think.
Yeah, because Ubisoft did like delay a lot of their games to try and make them better.
Yeah, I'm very curious to how Valhalla and whatever that other game's called, Phoenix Rising, how they'll review after this, because this is their first output after that delay.
I think Ubisoft games are probably just getting old for people. There's probably some fatigue on that because they really don't change it up much. And the reviews I've just seen snippets of just say, "Oh, it's another Ubisoft game."
Yeah, which is a shame.
Which is like, it's not. That's not a compliment usually. It's kind of just a neutral statement of like, this is what we're getting, and we're not surprised or anything.
Yeah, this was on my short list for something to pick up with the PS5, but it's now been struck from it until a sale or something. I'm still interested in it, but I'm not paying full price for it.
Right, I was interested too, but now, and this could have been their time to strike with the Cyberpunk delay and everything. But I think as soon as Assassin's Creed comes out, they're going to be in trouble.
I don't know.
And
I feel like
it'll be on sale soon.
Reviews. I'll be surprised, but you never know.
I think it's going to sell better because Assassin's Creed is.
Oh, it's definitely going to sell better.
If you're looking at Amazon or GameStop or whatever, and you see those two next to each other, like
this might be the end of Watch Dogs.
Yeah, it never really.
It's too close to Assassin's Creed. Also, it's like the Titanfall Battlefield situation.
Yeah, it never knocked one out of the park. It never did anything to distinguish itself too much. The hacking was never like that inventive or fun.
Yeah.
At least from what I played.
No, you're right. The second one is like a really good game for an Ubisoft game. It's not like the first. I don't like the first one all.
Yeah,
the second one I liked a lot, but it's also just like it is a good Ubisoft game, not like the other way around.
Yeah. Well, do you guys want to talk about our favorite moments of this generation, the PS4 and Xbox One generation?
Yeah.
Not that I think Xbox One is going to make it very high on here. All right. So I guess maybe first off, what were your parameters for selecting your favorite moments, and like how many did you pick? That kind of thing.
This was completely left ambiguous, so I just kind of sent it. We're all over the place here.
Good. That's what I like to see. Moment is very vague, I think, for a reason, Just kind of a reminiscence. This is a time to reminisce about what stuck out to you. You know what I mean? So, I have about 10 maybe, but like some can be just like honorable mentions or shout outs, quick stuff. And, we can alternate like we've been doing these past few weeks. Nick, why don't you start off?
Well, I'm going to go with the most recent moment, which has tickled my fancy, and that was that's tickled me. The announcing of Steve in Super Smash Bros. The long-awaited addition of that character to the roster is something that we have been talking about and waiting for years, and it was everything that I've ever wanted to be.
That's great. How are you liking playing as Steve?
I like him a lot. I mean, I don't know if I'm good with him or not, because like there's sometimes I'll play as whatever random characters and I'll smoke dudes and then I'll get absolutely stomped the next couple matches. And I don't know if that's because I'm just bad and they're better than me or not. But Steve, I feel like I actually put up a fight in matches where I lose and win handily in the matches that I win. So I don't know. I don't know what that says about it.
All right, well, I'll throw one up next. I'm going to give a shout out to here's what I'll do. Since you mentioned Smash, I'm gonna shout out the E3 presentation for Super Smash Bros. Ultimate when they did like the "Everybody's Here" trailer, the reveal. I think the first indication that this was, first off, you don't know if it's like, are they bringing Smash 4 as a port? Is it like a DX of it? Is it a brand new game. They showed the ice climbers, and like that was awesome. You know, like, oh, they're back. But then at one point they said everyone's here, and then you realize, oh wow, like they literally mean everyone that's been in these games is coming back. And you know, that was such a cool moment. That got me so hyped. You know, but like even before they, you know, announced all those other great, like awesome, you know, meme characters that everybody has wanted for a while, like King K. Rool and Ridley. Like Ridley got announced. Like, are you kidding me? You know, that's insane.
Ridley
like,
is too big
that was
for
like
Smash.
That was a joke, and it happened. You know, Banjo and Kazooie got in, everything. Like, so many great moments of all their reveals, like the way the trailers played off each other. Yeah, really great. But yeah, just like the everyone's here is what I wrote down as like the moment where it's like that kind of like was the theme of this whole game.
Brian?
Well,
this man doesn't have a thing to say about Smash. It's sad. Like, he really fell from grace.
Well, I'm trying to...
We got to piece him up soon.
So, my first one, I wanted to kind of pivot off of what Murph was saying and say E3, which was the Sony E3. The thing is, I'm trying to determine if it was 2015 or 2016. But the one Sony E3,
it's definitely 2015.
The one that had so much shit. It was so cool that like they had
one that had Horizon and
Spider-Man and Horizon and God of War and Detroit and there was
God of War was 2016.
I think it was both 2015 and 2016 back to back.
Those two back to backs were awesome.
Well, also the early ones too, when they were taking all those jabs at Microsoft and being like,
the game sharing.
This is how you share a game. Just like their presence for the first few years of E3 was so epic. Like, I'm not a sports guy, but it really felt like watching your favorite team just win, because it was like just, especially with watching E3, like people would be cheering and stuff. Like, it was just so exciting to watch them just continually make the best possible moves. And obviously, as the generation went on, they kind of teetered off into not necessarily bad showings, but just kind of expected showings. And they did the Crash Bandicoot announcement. One of them, it was just they had a run of just like magic, and it was awesome. Like, I remember the Spider-Man reveal just being crazy because that was a rumor for so long, but there was a lot of people just kind of like, is this real? This seems a little too far-fetched. And it was just like one piece of a whole conference that just kept having stuff. It was awesome.
Definitely. Nick, what's next for you?
So I guess the theme for me, for my moments, are kind of like firsts for me, like the memorable first moments in the games. So I'll bring it up. I'll be the strong one here and say it. My first Fortnite win.
Whoa.
I have that too.
I played it for a while before I was able to get a win, and I wasn't even at school in the townhouse at the time. I came home for whatever, maybe it was a holiday or a long weekend or something, and I was playing, and I was so tired by myself, and I had a gold scar, and I was on top of one of the hills, and I was building up, and there was 3 of us up there, and the guy to my right killed the guy that was like bottom left of me, and then he was exposed, and I had the gold scar and finished him off, and I'd never been happier. Yeah,
that's a good one. I didn't think about that, but the first win in any of those Battle Royale games when it was still really fresh was like extraordinarily exciting. PUBG.
Yeah, I put down
Fortnite
early,
and COD.
Yeah, early Blackout / Fortnite victories. They were just so exciting. Like, when you're in the top 5, right, and the circle's closing, like, and everybody you're playing with is like, I'm picturing us all like playing together. You know, everyone's like leaned forward in their seats, like communicating, really tense. And then like when like it's the final gunfight and it comes down to just like, you know, a couple more shots and then you get it. And then it's such a, I mean, that's why that whole genre is so successful, because like it is such a great payoff, especially in the beginning when there wasn't skill-based matchmaking and they were very hard to get, and like it just was like a badge of honor. Like, everyone was posting it on their Snapchat stories and stuff, you know, like sending it to their friends, like, oh, like how many wins do you have? Like that's really cool when like the whole, you know, community is kind of sharing in like one phenomenon at that point. So yeah, that's definitely, you know, such a huge moment for this generation, just battle royales in general. So I'm sure a lot of people feel that way as remembering their first few victories as being very, very outliers, very much outliers in their moments. Yeah. So I guess my turn again. Let me cross off the ones that I've done. All right. I'm going to give a shout out to How many do you guys have, just to gauge if I should like
5-ish.
Okay.
Some of them might be things you say, and one of them I'm pretty certain you'll have, Murph, maybe not, but
I think I have 2 in common with you.
I don't think so. No, actually, yeah, maybe.
I have 1 in common with you and 1 that there's a good chance, but Nick,
stay tuned,
Stay tuned.
I'm gonna go for my next shout out. I'm gonna go Mario Odyssey, the New Donk City.
When Mario
Jump Up
executes
Superstar.
Donkey Kong with a revolver.
The New Donk City Jump Up Superstar sequence where you kind of like play through this whole song. It's almost like a music video. It's such a cool, like lovingly crafted, like homage to Mario, and it's so cool. He's such a like story character, and so like there's so much history behind him, and it was really cool to play this where it does like the 2D things, and like you climb up the Donkey Kong like barrel, Donkey Kong's throwing barrels at you and stuff. It's so cool, and it's all synced up to this really like catchy jazz song that is like still stuck in my head sometimes. It's great.
This was one of the ones that I did want to mention because
Yeah.
I was in a big video game slump at the time, and I played this, and it really brought some joy.
Yeah,
in
it's
terms
very
of playing
joyous.
video
That's
games
That's Mario's
for the first time in a
signature move.
while.
He said wahoo.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Mario's. I think like Jared Petty said that at one point. Like if like you boil down Mario to one word, it's just joy, which is like very true. Like every jump he makes, he's like just really happy. Which yeah, I'm sure you boys would like to get there someday.
I'd just given up on that, but thanks.
All
Wahoo.
right, all right, Brian. What's up next for you? And why haven't you beaten Mario Odyssey yet?
That's a good question for another time. Another one for the Sony fanboys out there. I'm gonna say launch day of PlayStation 4. This is more of like a personal one, but it was just I will never forget going to GameStop at midnight with one of my other friends, and we convinced one of our other friends to come with us because we were scared we were gonna get mugged, and we paid him in Taco Bell. And just going and just waiting in line outside. It was just like a very singular experience. And now with COVID, probably will never really happen again. And just this pure excitement of like going home at midnight and unboxing it. And I only had Killzone Shadowfall at the time. And just like firing that up for the first time. And it was just so exciting. It was like Christmas. And then I actually ended up having a bricked for PS4 and had to go return it the next day. But
I forgot about that.
the
Wow.
pure the opening moments of like it was so like memorable and exciting. But I mean, I ended up getting it replaced within the first day, so it wasn't that big of a deal. But it was, went from peak joy to peak sadness pretty quick because I had to go to school the next day, and then when I got back,
Yeah.
it was like bricked, and so I needed to get a new one. But that's my.
I said
next
wow
one.
like I'm Owen Wilson or something.
Wow.
Wow. Wow. Wow. All right. Nicholas, how about you? What else you got?
Oh man, I got my first Animal Crossing game. I guess just in general as a moment. I haven't played this in a while, but the relaxation and enjoyment that I had in the time that I did play it when it first came out was something that was fresh to me because I hadn't played any of the previous ones, which I know you guys have. It's definitely something that everyone should experience.
Yeah, that game's absolutely amazing.
I thought about including this, but I ended up not. But yeah, it's super great. And yeah, very, very good moment. All right, another one for me, and this is maybe where there might be crossover. I'd be kind of surprised, honestly, if there's not here, is, this one might shock you. You might not think this is coming for me, but here it is. The Last of Us 2. The, more generally speaking, the entire museum sequence with Joel and Ellie, but specifically the rocket launch moment is, that's just chef kiss in terms of having the feels in a video game or in any medium, in terms of just like what like such a crazy, like the emotion just washes over you during that scene. It's just very beautifully done.
Yeah, I have The Last of Us 2's prologue. The first like 3-4 hours of the game is in mine. More accurately, the first like third of the game was like absolutely singular, like the most compelled I've ever been playing. Like it's just like media blackout rushing to like get to all the story beats.
Yeah,
but that's a good
first
pick.
third is the best third. It's my favorite third. But that's my favorite moment.
I agree. But no, yeah, that I had the opening prologue sequence. It was just like so. I'll never forget staying up till midnight and playing it. And But speaking of, can I go into my next one off that?
Yes, you can.
Speaking of staying up till midnight and prologues in the snow, Red Dead Redemption 2's prologue.
Yeah, boy, this is one of mine.
Just staying up till midnight and just being so immediately enraptured in a game, and just the atmosphere and it just being such a singular moment of like, wow, like right off the bat, and being up late but just like really wanting to continue playing it, waking up really early the next day to get back into it, and it just like immediately setting a mood and setting the precedent for like what you're going to be doing for the next 80 hours. Like it just so cinematic, so memorable, so compelling right off the bat. It's just excellent stuff.
Yeah, super great opening, like introducing you to this world, these characters, beautiful western setting in the snow, graphics looking amazing. Immediately there's like a lot at stake because this whole camp of people is dying in the snow basically, and John Marston's missing. So there's all kinds of like little tidbits, that just got me so excited. And I was so hyped when like the title card came up, and I was like, oh my God, like Red Dead Redemption, it's been 10 years, but we're playing it again. It's great. Nick, what else do you have?
I'll go ahead and say something that I bring up and think about far too often, probably, is the canning factory scene in Edith Finch.
This is one time too many.
This
it really just does stick with me.
This is a bridge too far.
It did.
No, it's a very well done level in a video game.
That one just really sticks with me. So that's all I'll say about that.
Well, you should probably
see somebody about that.
Oh man, we don't pay this man enough, do we? He thinks it'd be really funny if he liked his day job and he's only
just talking about this
the podcast as what's reminiscent of the canning factory for him.
The commitment of like an hour and a half per week.
Yeah. Oh man, that's good
sometimes.
Sometimes. Up next for me, I'm gonna shout out Breath of the Wild, because you knew I had to do one of these. And for me, it's the opening. Like many of these games are, the opening strikes you so much. But when you first come out of the place, the cave where you've been basically cryo-frozen for 100 years, and you run out onto like the edge of the cliff, and you look over the entire world, and the title screen comes up, and the music is like beautiful, so great. And then that entire tutorial sequence in the Great Plateau, where it kind of gets your feet wet and you're like seeing all the mechanics at play here. It's a really good microcosm of the entire game world, and it's definitely one of the best tutorial zones in a game. But that's that for me. That and getting the Master Sword are both awesome. All right. Let's see, Brian, what's up next for you?
I know you're going to get behind this. It's a little bit of a multi-pronged entry,
I think
which I've qualified as killing various Souls/From Software games bosses.
Yeah.
One's off the top of my head here. The Cleric Beast and Bloodborne, just because that's the first game I played, so it felt like a huge adrenaline rush, like the beginning of an undying love for a franchise. And also Pontiff Sullivan from Dark Souls 3, which
that's a big one for you.
Really brutal. And then, of course, Ishin, the Sword
Yeah.
Saint from Sekiro. Shadows died twice. Quite possibly the most difficult and infuriating thing I've ever had to do.
Yeah, I actually tentatively put beating Ishin as like my number one. Like when I think of moments of a generation, that is literally almost at the very top for me. I would say it's one of the very highest. Like that, I had never felt so like demoralized.
I felt like relieved. Like the other ones was like
Yeah.
victory, and then with Ishin, I was just like, all right, thank God.
I
I'm done.
felt super accomplished. It was really hard. And,
It was, but it was like
it was a
physical
singular
release.
experience. And I pity anyone that didn't get that far in that game.
Nick.
And yeah, it's so great. Such a
All right, Brian, what do you got next?
that was mine.
Yeah, it's your turn, Nick. My next one is losing to
Iron
the owl,
Excunder and
or-
almost trading the game in.
at the canning factory. This is why he thinks we're the canning factory, bro.
One that I think we could all appreciate from me is your first low roar when you come over the hill in Death Stranding.
Yeah, that's like another top one for me, Nick. Get out of my
I actually
brain.
didn't even think about that, but that's a great pick.
I had the don't be so serious, like that moment, cresting over the hilltop. So good. So good.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't hear you, and I don't know if it's because of the audio, but we're talking about Death Stranding in case you couldn't hear Nick, because I couldn't. So
Oh yeah, and Death Stranding, yeah.
wonderful game.
Wonderful game. What that was the moment I think where it really clicked for me, where like I was like, "Oh, this is awesome."
Yeah, I'm surprised we were all on the same page for that. That's the type of game that it seems like at least one of us would hate.
Yeah. That is kind of strange.
A good game's a good game.
Not according to Murph. You see his top 30?
That's true.
A lot of
I got him.
stinkerooskies.
Breath of the Wild not being appreciated.
No, you both of you like that. I don't dislike it. I just don't like it as much as you.
Mm-hmm.
It's fine.
Mm-hmm.
Breath of the Mild.
Yeah. The Last of Us poo.
All right, hold on. I got
part poo. I think it's only part poo.
a sidebar here. On the Walmart's PS5 page, because I'm still on that, there's 378 ratings so far. 288 of them are 5 stars. 76 are 1 star. How are they allowing people to put up reviews for this thing?
Because it's fun. It's Walmart. No
The-
rules
the-
over there.
Oh, Nick, I asked Walmart and they said save money, live better.
Oh, all right.
Is that their motto?
I think, right?
Yeah, it used to
It
be.
is, right?
At least.
I don't know if they have a motto now.
The most helpful negative review, 1 star, terrible. This is the most brand every. It's worse than playing on Android. If you want a real gaming system, go to Xbox. I've had many problems with PlayStation. Xbox has never failed me. Like I said, PlayStation is the worst ever. If you like playing on an Android, then go ahead. But if you want a good lasting console, go Xbox.
Nick, does this
That
guy? Do we
doesn't
know if
sound
this guy is
biased, yeah.
already on a podcast? Because I think we should probably try and get him on. He sounds like he'd be a good fourth chair here.
Why Headbar?
So-
Nick wrote that review.
Apparently in 2007, they rolled out the slogan "Save Money, Live Better" to replace their previous slogan, "Always low prices, period, always." That sounds like so
That's a
dramatic.
threat.
Like,
Yeah, at
Han
any
Solo,
cost.
Han Solo ready to die, always. All right. Welcome to the Walmart spoiler cast.
Wait, always. That's from something, isn't it?
Yeah, that sounds from Walmart.
I think it's from Harry Potter.
Yeah,
Snape.
yeah, it is. No, it is.
But like, I don't know if that's the only one I'm thinking of, or if I'm. Anyways,
Oh, I think it's Captain Barbosa from Pirates of the Caribbean.
when he's getting frozen in carbonite. Okay. Who? Is it my turn now? Okay, I think it is. Okay, beating Asian. Jeez. Okay. I'm running low, but I'm gonna give one that'll trigger Brian.
Ugh.
God of War.
No, if it's the one I'm thinking of, it's a good call.
I know of such a weapon.
Yeah, that's lit. That was
That's
like the only part of the game
yeah.
that I like was like, oh, I was like, oh, here we go. It's gonna get really
Yeah.
good. And
Nick, I don't know if you got there yet. Did you get there yet?
I have not.
Okay. God. So
this
I
man's
would also
playing
mention,
at 1 mile an hour over there.
I would mention the ending as well too as a moment for me. Basically, with the quote I referenced, if you know, you know. If you don't, and you're like Nick, you should start knowing. You should play that game. It's gonna be free on PS5, so everyone, check it out. Check it out.
Yeah, I'm gonna play it. I'm gonna play it again on PS5.
Yeah, I was actually gonna text you when I saw that, and I was
And
like,
it's gonna be
say, you
awesome
should-
when I love it. I was just in a bad mood when I played it or something.
Yeah.
Murph, this game's so good.
Yeah, you were like hungover or something like the morning you tried it. I don't know. What the patch is like? It's gonna be 60 frames a second, right? At 4K.
Yeah. Yeah, same with
That's-
God of War 3 remastered.
That's dope.
The better game.
60 and 40. As someone who's played both in the past.
I have
Yeah, I
played
don't know
both.
about- No,
I
I've played both in the past year. Is what I was gonna say, but
Oh.
I don't know about that.
God of War 3 is still really good. Gotta say
It is. I liked
It's
it.
really cinematic. That's what I
It
was
definitely
missing
is.
from
When you're like
2018 one.
you're riding up on
Yeah,
like,
the opening
Titan.
is iconic.
Yeah,
as
the
fuck.
opening is dope. But anyways, yeah, just that game has a lot of good Sorry,
Somebody
dropping
playing
pencil.
Twister over there. What was that?
Does Twister make that noise?
No.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Beyblade.
If you flick the arrow,
It did
to
sound like the
spin it
flicking thing. Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of good moments in God of War, but
in Twister.
There's more good moments in the average game of Twister than there is in God of War, and that's no shade to God of War.
depends on who you're playing with, you know.
Kratos and his
When
children.
you both got left hand red.
All right, Brian. Let's see. You got anything else?
I got one that's
Uh,
gonna set the conversation ablaze, and then one that's everybody's gonna be like, "Yeah, I agree." So take your pick.
Set us ablaze and then honorable mention your
Yeah, I'll do the honorable mention first because there's gonna be no contention for this.
Okay.
Super Smash Bros. Playing in college together, all endless hours, enjoying ourselves,
Oh,
Turning
doesn't
in-
sound like a moment to me, Brian.
turning into a squid with super, Game and Watch. It's moments, Smurf. It's an era.
Yes, you're right.
Just-
you're right.
just
Those
a
are good
genuine-
moments.
They're
I
they're
could
beautiful
say the
moments.
moment I beat the shit out of you, but which one?
That's many. That
right?
is still many moments. That
The,
that fails.
the
to me all time.
moment for Smash 4 would be when we went to that tournament and you
That
guys
was
were,
awesome.
yeah.
were a little tipsy and I got a couple hits on Lucario and you guys were in the back going, oh, every single time I got a hit.
Good time.
Yeah, that was pretty obnoxious.
I think
And
that's
then,
how.
and then they never invited us to another tournament again.
that was a fun time.
No, I went to
And,
like 3 of them, didn't I?
Yeah,
Murph
I've
won a
been.
Wii
I went to a few. Yeah, I won a Wii U. That was fun. One of the probably like in terms of winning consoles, like it's
Yeah,
definitely
it's not ideal.
yeah, but it did. I did play one of my favorite games of all time on the Wii U, Breath of the Wild. So I do have to, appreciate it
You
for
play
that.
that on the Wii U?
Yeah, because that was like I had the Wii U. I didn't have the Switch at launch. I got the Switch like
Did you also have it on the Switch?
I bought all
Oh,
as soon as I bought the Switch. I was like,
Yeah,
yeah,
okay.
come on.
I was gonna say I don't. Yeah. All right, you ready to get set ablaze, boys? This is gonna piss Murph off so bad, but
Oh, really?
I just think it's true. All right. So
Okay, let's hear it.
let me preface this: the game is really bad. However,
Knack.
the opening, my first hour, and subsequently my last hour with
Dang, what
No
is this?
Man's Sky.
Wow.
The first hour I played that game, I was like, "Holy shit, this is so cool!" And then I was
That's
like,
really funny.
And then I was like, "Oh, this is it." Like
Yeah.
the first hour, I
Yeah.
was like, it was really exciting. It was like felt like I actually had to figure out what was going on and having to get shelter and figure out how to get off the planet. And then once you do, it's like, all right, well, that's it. Do that again if
Yeah,
you care.
it's like,
to.
yeah. Do you like doing that 600 more times?
Yeah, and I certainly did not. However, the PS5
No, it's a good-
the PS5 patch looks kind of promising, for being honest. But that's neither here nor there.
I
I
don't
don't
trust
think-
like that.
They will never be able to fix the core gameplay loop, which is still just not fun. Which is unfortunate
The
because I
core,
would
the
love.
core gameplay loop of lying to your audience. Murph, what do you have up next
No,
before we
that's a
talk
pretty-
about some developers?
Yeah, what do you got?
Developers.
Let's see. I would give a shout. I'm gonna give a couple shout outs here. Okay. I'm gonna give a shout out to. These are my final ones. Control, the music scene. If you've played it,
Really?
you know what I'm talking about.
Not a fan.
That's just a
of that
cool
scene.
moment. It's a shout out. It's not. I didn't say it's.
All
Did
right,
I crown
well,
it the king of all?
you got very defensive there. Take it easy.
It's a cool moment.
I would
Brian.
pick different moments from that game.
That's fair. Pokemon Go just as a.
That's a good
You know,
one.
I know. Yeah,
That's
just
a
like
good
the
pick.
first few days when everyone was obsessed with it, it seemed like it was going to be. I mean, it was like cool for like.
Yeah, like big cities were like collapsing on themselves.
Yeah,
to go
dude,
find
it was
Charizards by
it took
the
over
bay.
it took over the world for a little bit, and it was just like a very cool moment in the history of like this generation. Like
Yeah.
that summer of I think 2016, like everybody would like you if you went outside, like everybody was there.
Yeah, it's
I remember
it's so
sitting.
weird.
One of the Pokestops things near me was my post office, for some reason, and I remember it was like midnight, and there was like 20 of us sitting on the sidewalk, and I'm just sitting
Yeah.
out there with a bunch of random people, and they were very scary looking.
You know what
And we're all
that
just-
shows you? That the barrier to entry for video games is quite literally just money, because everybody, like
Yeah.
most people have phones, and there were people playing that literally would call every single video game stupid and lame. Why would you play video games? I knew people played that have never played Pokemon, that don't play
Oh,
video
really?
games,
No.
and were like fiending to
Yeah.
catch their little. But I mean, obviously it all died out pretty quickly. But like at the
Yeah.
time, I like pretty much every single person in our age bracket, boy or girl,
Mm-hmm.
no matter what their hobbies are, they were out there trying to get Pokemon. It was an interesting phenomenon for sure.
They subsequently dropped the ball by not letting you do anything with the Pokemon other than like I think if they had just postponed it maybe one more year, let you battle your friends, trade. The whole point of Pokemon is like collecting all of them. So like I think putting less of an emphasis on what they ended up doing, which is collecting 2,000 Pidgeys so you can sell them all to get candy to level up one Pidgey to be like super powerful. Just make it like actually fun, like rare Pokemon are hard to find, but like you could trade, with a friend, fill out your Pokédex, have battles with your friends, like flexing, like back in the day, like flexing cool Pokemon cards that you had. Make it something like that.
What would win? One Pidgey or one Wailord sized Pidgey, or 1,000 Pidgey sized Wailords?
What's the one like the new legendary that's like basically just God?
By new, you mean like 15 years old?
What?
Yeah.
50?
Yeah.
How old? When
When
did
we were in,
those
like-
ones come out? Wait, what are the new legendaries doing then?
They're like
Uh,
one's a sword and the other one's a shield.
Wait, I thought Diamond and Pearl was the one that they were gods.
Yeah, Diamond and Pearl was like 2007, dude.
No shot.
13 years ago. Yeah.
Wait, really? Wow, I'm old.
Yeah, I was
huh?
in like 5th grade when that came out.
Maybe
You
I was
are
just
old.
behind the times.
Then
Diamond
what's
and
that
Pearl.
newfangled?
Wow, you're right. 2006.
Yeah,
What
I
am
think
I
like
thinking of? Black and White. There was one I played in high school.
those
and it
games
was
are
new
like
when I played.
only 2010 still. Black and White came out 10 years ago.
I googled just Black and White, and I don't know what I expected, but I certainly did not get any Pokemon related results.
Brian,
So
do you
a
remember
lot
when
of-
we got,
A lot of clothes and music videos.
do you remember when we were at the Chance concert?
Yeah, that
And,
was really funny. Iconic.
And then one more shout out for me. 2 more shout outs. One is
Oh
just
my
Spider-Man.
God.
There's a very,
Just,
some very
just
cool
go
moments.
just Spider-Man, not the
Just
game.
being able to that was the
Webs.
year of my Spider-Man obsession where it was an ultimate peak. I was listening to podcasts about Spider-Man, guys. Like I was reading all the comics. I was super into it. So that was a great time for that game to come out for me. So like there were a lot of cool moments in there that were just like very awesome. But next up is Bloodborne, which I know I mention on every podcast, but
Rightfully
after you
so.
beat Rom, the vacuous spider, and like your insight goes up, and then you see all the invisible things, and they're visible now, like all the amygdalas that are floating around and stuff. Like that's a very cool moment.
Yeah. Basically anything that ever happens in a From game is my new list.
our eyes are yet to open. All right. Well, that does it for me. You guys want to wrap up by kind of just shouting out some of our favorite developers of the generation?
Developers. I only have
And
4.
I would say make a prediction for who comes out on top next generation, but we could also probably do an entire podcast on that after the PS5 launches.
Yeah, that's fine.
You know, so
Save the content. Save
the
the cheerleader.
content,
Save the world.
all right, Nick, why don't you start us off?
I will start with Insomniac.
Interesting.
That's one of my top 4.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Spidey and Ratchet, can't go wrong.
Sunset Overdrive.
Sunset Overdrive.
I never played that.
And
I didn't play
look like
that, so
I'm gonna be honest. I was not. I mean, not that I didn't like, but the only one that I loved was Ratchet and Clank. I thought the other two were good, but not great.
Yeah, but like in terms of just like their value to Sony now,
Yeah, no, for sure.
Their mass market appeal, and like the fact that it looks like they're going to be knocking the next 2 games out of the park with Rift Apart and Miles Morales. Like,
Yeah.
it's crazy how much they can produce in such a short amount of time compared to some of the other two of the developers on my list are cranking out hits like it's their job, and then another one on my list only made 1 game in the past decade, but
Toys for Bob.
or 2 games in the past decade, but yeah. All right, so I'm going to shout out on that note Rockstar, because even though this generation they only made 1 game, it was fantastic, and they also held on to against all odds. We're talking about Pokemon Go, being something that was a flash in the pan and huge for a while, but not anymore. How about GTA? GTA 5, because of GTA Online, is still like one of the top selling games. I think some months it is still like the number 1 selling game in like February.
Yeah, I mean they're re-releasing a new version on PS5 that'll cost probably full price, so that's gonna be back.
So, like, just the support they've given that game is pretty incredible to somehow keep players so invested in it after it's 7 years. So you gotta kind of just shout them out for that. And Red Dead Redemption 2 is such a huge undertaking, and it's just quadruple A in terms of its scope and scale. Brian?
Let's see here. I know that this one will for sure be in yours, so let me skip. Let me do a bit of a curveball here. I'm gonna say Respawn, responsible for both Titanfall games and Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. They were acquired by EA this generation, or they were founded this generation as well, but came from people from old Modern Warfare fame, developers from that era of Call of Duty. And I think they've really been able to kind of navigate the EA machinery in a way that a lot of other studios haven't, and being able to output quality products that have heart to them outside of just kind of feeling like empty products, which it can be very easy to become like that when you're under the umbrella of something like EA or Activision or even now Ubisoft. And I think Titanfall 2 and Jedi Fallen Order in particular are very, very strong games. And even with Jedi Fallen Order, a game that probably shipped 8 months too early, like there was definitely some technical lack of finish to it, is still an excellent game, probably the best Star Wars game in 2 generations. So I think I'm very much looking forward to see what they do going forward, and I think there's a lot of talent there.
That's a good pick. You make a good case for them. Nick, do you have any others?
You can go with good old-fashioned Nintendo.
Yeah, I had that too.
Yeah.
Specifically, whatever Nintendo Entertainment Planning and Development.
Yeah, is it the R&D? Isn't there one called R&D or something?
Just the one that made Odyssey and Breath of the Wild and Mario Maker and Animal Crossing. Yeah,
they're so just at the top of their game. It's insane, and it's the reason they don't get as much credit the way Naughty Dog, Rockstar gets is because Nintendo is so closed door about what their individual teams are comprised of. Like a lot of even their old classic games, it's we don't know a lot of who worked on certain games and stuff like that sometimes. So, but yeah, shout out to Nintendo. They are always masters of their craft when it comes to making the actual game and not any
software
of the extra.
for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Another one for me, I'm gonna say it, is From Software. Definitely my favorite developer of the generation.
That's the one I skipped.
Yeah, I figured they've obviously put out so many hits this generation. It's kind of
Nuts.
insane. I would say like pound for pound, I don't think anybody can rival them in terms of number of games they've released at the quality. Even if you're being objective, I don't know if anyone's released that many games with that many high
No
Metascores or
no
IGN.
way.
You know what I mean?
Unless you count like remasters or something.
Yeah, or if you count Nintendo. But yeah, it's absolutely incredible, and hopefully they can keep up that momentum in the next generation. I mean, they had Dark Souls 2 was kind of like cross-gen. They had Bloodborne, which is incredible. They had Dark Souls 3. They had Sekiro. And then they had like their other games like Duracine and stuff like that. But yeah, pretty insane.
Yeah, I'm a Ride or Die From fan. They're the only ones that have come out like totally 100% like I will buy whatever their thing is for $60 without knowing anything about it. Naughty Dog and
Definitely.
Rockstar are still in that company, but I'm not quite as confident as I would have been, a few years ago. Specifically,
They could sell me a
Rockstar.
blank disc. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I am going to say Kojima Productions.
Yeah.
Metal Gear Solid 5 obviously went through a ton of production problems and is barely even a finished game, and it's still widely considered one of the best games of the generation. Death Stranding, I think, is one of the most rewardingly unique AAA games of ever made, probably. And talk about a quick turnaround. Like, they were shopping for an engine, like, 2 years before that game came out somehow. And, I mean, yeah, it's a simple loop, but it's extremely satisfying, and it's the atmosphere and the storytelling, or at least the world building, are extraordinary, and it's a very, very, in the moment type of experience that really sticks out as unique, and I can't really imagine anything copying it, or at least being successful in copying it. And I just think Kojima is definitely a very, very one-of-a-kind developer, and I'm very excited to see what he does going forward with his team, not having to answer to Konami, because Death Stranding being the first audition of that, I think is very promising to see where he and his team can take game development.
Not to mention PT.
That's
if you want
true.
to talk about unreleased, people still say that's like one of the best horror games they've played. I didn't actually play it, but like
It's really scary.
it gets so much hype, and it was just a demo. Like that's when you're next level, I think.
It's
I
because
didn't
it's
even
not.
finish it in Brian's basement.
It's not even like. It's because of the approach to the horror. Like, it's real. It's really like subtle, creepy stuff versus just like jump scares, and like it's like some of the stuff that's changing around you, like you don't even notice. It's a full game of that would be very, very scary for sure.
Yeah.
But the rumors are that he's cooking up some horror stuff, so we'll see.
Yeah, that should be good. That'd be great. Any other for you guys?
Nick,
Did we mention Naughty Dog?
that was my last one. Yeah.
That was also my last one.
I'll also say Gorilla.
Yeah, Gorilla with
Killzone, Shadowfall.
Killzone was fine, but Horizon was a huge improvement,
Yeah.
and really showed the talent they have over there from pivoting from, first-person shooters basically exclusively to a massive open-world game that kind of has a new angle on the world and the combat and stuff. I didn't have them, but that's a good pick. Naughty Dog, like, I wouldn't have had pre-Last of Us 2 probably, because even though I like Uncharted 4 and Lost Legacy, I think they're sort of disappointing in the scheme of things. But Last of Us 2 definitely cannonballed them back on the map for me and gave me those PS3 feels of just like them being benchmark in single-player storytelling games, cinematic games. So they're back for me, back in my good graces.
They're definitely. I mean, Last of Us 2 is their standout game of the generation for me. I personally don't think they have exceeded anything that they did in the PS3 generation, but others may disagree on that. But there's still just because you're not number one doesn't mean you can't be one of the best ever, right?
I just want them to make new IPs.
Oh, right, exactly. I would love to see them take back number one and like be innovative again and be the benchmark. Like they did innovative things. Like we don't have to have that discussion, but like I want to see something new from them, a new IP, kind of some new creativity come in, that kind of thing. But obviously they're still excellent at what they do, so they'll always get a shout out in this kind of discussion. So I think that does it for this pretty good episode.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, a lot of good moments. Very interesting generation, and I'm sure there's going to be many more interesting ones to come in the next generation. Or everything will just be a free-to-play looter shooter from
Looter
Amazon
slasher
and streamed from your Game Pass stick.
Wow, that really took a lot out of you. That hypothetical. Sorry you had to go through
What
that.
makes you think it's a hypothetical? That just sent you back to the canning factory, dude.
Whoa.
All right. Well, I think that does it. We'll see you all next week for a discussion of, this is the crown
top
jewel of this
30
month
games
of the generation.
Oh.
Yeah, we're going to be talking about our top 30 games of the generation. It's gonna be a long one. It's gonna be pretty crazy. But
this is gonna be the end of the podcast for sure.
we are all picking.
When I hear Murph's takes, it's over.
Yeah, it's not gonna be good. It's gonna be pretty. It's gonna be must watch though. Must watch. So we'll see you all next week. Be sure to give us a rating, subscribe, all that good stuff. Share us with your friends if you'd like. And Nick.
Here's my my big part.
All right, do it in song.
Yeah, Nick, give
Let
me
that
a
yawn
song.
out.
They
Where
can
they
find us. They can find us on Twitter at PseudoLudoCast. They can find us on Instagram at PseudoLudoPod, and they can find us on YouTube whenever Brian feels like putting up the videos.
Like, can you start doing, like, when you mess up and go, fuck, can you start doing that, like, every time as a bit? 'Cause I was really expecting it and was disappointed that it wasn't there. Because you've done it a lot recently. It always gives me a hearty laugh.
But yeah, all right. Well, I'll see you guys next week. Prepare to hang on to your butts.
Bye-bye.
Adios.
Bye. Bye.
Developers.